Good morning, I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for streaming with us. In today's update, a winter storm is coming just in time for Christmas travel. The storm is hitting the west coast today, where Oregon is already seeing landslides, shutting down the Columbia River Highway. Now an avalanche warning has been issued from Oregon to Montana, where some areas could see up to 30 inches of snow. By Wednesday, the Great Lakes could see major snowstorms. Heavy rain and thunderstorms are expected from the Ohio Valley to the Gulf Coast. After months of gridlock, Congress has reached a deal on a COVID relief package. The stimulus bill will provide one-time $600 checks to low-income Americans and weekly $300 checks to those who are unemployed. The package also revives the Paycheck Protection Program, extends a federal eviction moratorium, and funds COVID testing, tracing, and vaccine distribution. Overseas, London is back in lockdown as the UK fights a new strain of the coronavirus. Over the weekend, train stations and airports in the UK were packed with people trying to get out before travel bans took effect. Now more than a dozen countries have banned travel to and from the UK. And as cases surge across the U.S., Moderna vaccines are making their way to hospitals around the country. The vaccine received emergency authorization over the weekend. Now the CDC says frontline workers and people over the age of 74 should be next to get vaccinated. And as millions prepare to travel for Christmas, we're learning more about a passenger who died on a packed United Airlines flight. Now there are reports he may have had COVID-19 symptoms. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has more.
This morning, new images obtained by TMZ from inside the plane during those tense moments. Passengers panicking, an EMT telling us they performed chest compressions, trying to revive a man on that flight. The man aboard United Flight 591 from Orlando to Los Angeles died from a heart attack. But this passenger says she heard his wife say he recently had COVID-like symptoms.
When it was just the female nurse, she was the first one to get over there and talk to them. That's when I had heard and other people had heard he was having symptoms like trouble breathing, he had loss of taste and smell.
We do not know if the man actually had the virus. Tony Aldapa was one of the EMTs giving the man hands-only CPR for an hour. Now he feels sick. He tested negative after the flight, but is awaiting results from a later test.
It's kind of every day since then, I'm getting, my cough will be a little bit worse or my headache will be a little bit worse. So pretty much, I feel just like I get hit by a train.
The flight diverting, making an emergency landing in New Orleans.
I'm not saying it's United's fault, but I think they should have tested us. And I would assume that if they had tested this gentleman, they would have found out that he was sick and he wouldn't have come on board.
United telling ABC News, at the time of the diversion, we were informed he had suffered a cardiac arrest, so passengers were given the option to take a later flight or continue on with their travel plans. But now that the CDC is investigating, United says it is handing over passenger information to aid the investigation into possible exposures. In order to fly, passengers must confirm that they haven't tested positive for COVID or have experienced COVID-like symptoms. Sources say the passenger did fill out that form and said no to both. This as more than 2 million people were screened at TSA checkpoints on Friday and Saturday alone. Millions of others expected this week too, even as the pandemic roars across America. And listen, it is very important to note the CDC is urging Americans to celebrate the holidays at home just with the people who already live with you. Diane?
Gio Benitez in Memphis. Thanks, Gio. And let's bring in ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Jennifer Ashton now, who just got her first dose of the COVID vaccine this morning. Now, some doctors at the hospital where she performed surgeries had already received it. Dr. Ashton was in the second group, and she's joining us now live to share more about her experience. Dr. Jen, good morning. I see you showing it off loud and proud. How do you feel?
I feel great, Diane. Boy, it was an emotional morning for sure. As you mentioned, I received the vaccine at my hospital, Englewood Health in Englewood, New Jersey, where I performed surgery. I was in group 2, so I had to wait through all the people in group 1 who were offered their spot. I got the text email notification on Thursday night saying my turn was up. I immediately jumped to register a time slot, and their vaccination process is going really smoothly. They're starting group 3, I believe, tomorrow. And I just feel an incredible sense of gratitude to the people who worked to develop this vaccine, who participated in the clinical trials, and for all the people who have lost loved ones to COVID-19. This vaccine will hopefully eventually put an end to that.
Now, one of the things I find really interesting is we've heard so much about allergic reactions and how people who have severe allergic reactions might not want to get the vaccine or should talk to their doctor. And you actually have had severe reactions to food allergies.
Correct.
So how did you make the decision to get this vaccine anyway?
So I'm getting so many questions about this on my Instagram, Diane, and rightly so. There are a lot of people in this country who have allergies to foods or drugs. Number one, let's talk about big picture view. Background risk of an allergic reaction, a serious one following any immunization, is cited at an estimated 1.3 cases per 1 million doses. What do we know about this vaccine? Well, obviously, it's just starting to be administered. So the CDC released numbers just yesterday saying out of 272,000 doses, they have 6 reports of severe allergic reactions. That breaks it down, doing some simple math, to a risk so far of 1 in 45,000. For me, for you, for the average person, the risk of COVID, way higher than 1 out of 45,000. So for me, it was a very easy way to make the decision. Also, the American College of Asthma, Allergy, and Immunology says that even for people with serious allergies to foods or medications or drugs, they are at no higher risk than the general population to this particular vaccine. If you know you're allergic to the ingredient polyethylene glycol, then you should not get this vaccine. But otherwise, I had my EpiPens ready. It was in a medically supervised area, obviously in a hospital. There were paramedics there for everyone who were waiting their 15 to 30 minutes. And I did consult my personal allergist. You know, even doctors have doctors who recommended that I take an over-the-counter Zyrtec about an hour before, which I did. But I was not worried. I feel totally fine. And for me, that risk versus risk, no question which direction I was going to go.
Very well explained. And we should mention that in major pharmacies, people think, oh, well, that's in the hospital. But if I get it in a pharmacy, even the pharmacists who regularly administer vaccines have experience on dealing with allergic reactions. So, you know, it is worth noting that even the pharmacies are prepared to deal with this kind of thing.
That's correct. They have epinephrine auto-injectors, which is reminded to everyone to be used as first line for an allergic reaction. But again, the risk is very low. However, people need to understand that as we start setting upon this path to vaccinate 100 million, 200 million Americans, we are going to see more reports of allergic reactions. The key is whether you can anticipate them, appropriately deal with them in a medical sense, and again, how high that is compared to a background risk of severe allergic reaction, and that is going to be tracked very, very closely.
And you seemed a little bit emotional right after getting this vaccine. How significant was it for you to have that moment finally here?
Oh, Diane. Well, you know that I'm a mom of 2. I'm the only parent my kids have, and I didn't realize it until that needle was in my arm, that this whole year, while reporting on this story, while taking care of my patients, I had really suppressed my own fear of getting COVID and potentially dying of it. I'm not worried about dying because if you're dead, you're dead, but I am worried about leaving my kids without a parent. So for me, that was what was going through my mind when I got this vaccine, is that obviously I'll die of something else, but I'm not going to die of COVID. And that, as a mom, that was everything to me.
Well, we could see it in your eyes and hear it in your voice, and we know how much you open up your heart to us all the time, but we appreciate you taking us on this journey as well. So many people have so many questions about this vaccine, and like so many other things in this pandemic, you have been at the forefront of answering those questions for all of us, Dr. Jen. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.
Much love to you. And holiday traditions will look a little different this year, but theaters across the country are proving that the show must go on by finding new ways to perform the holiday classic, A Christmas Carol. Here's ABC's Rena Roy with more.
A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle. God save you. The moment you hear that iconic phrase, you know Christmas time must be here. But this year, the 1938 classic film version of A Christmas Carol has a little 2020 flavor.
Humbug. I'll be Fred in Christmas Present, and Scrooge. You could be Scrooge.
Okay, I'll be Scrooge.
This New Jersey family is starring in their own virtual show based on the original play by Charles Dickens, with mom Danielle, daughter Chandler, and Aunt Sarah taking center stage.
Uncle Scrooge, we'd like to invite you to Christmas dinner tomorrow.
Christmas? Bah, humbug.
Using cue cards and prompts from this special red box sent by mail from their favorite local theater, the McCarter Theater Center in Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Despite some stumbles along the way.
Look here. That's you, Aunt Sarah.
Making sure to keep up their family's annual tradition in some form. Yeah. Usually they see the play in person.
We're a third generation that totally enjoys the Christmas Carol for the last 11 years.
Can you talk about what the story means to you, especially during these difficult times?
Everything is shut down right now. The coronavirus, and we're not really able to see each other. Having this box set and having a Christmas Carol to bring us all together again is something so magical that can't really be replaced.
Though many theaters are struggling during this holiday season, they're still creatively reinventing the timeless story for families to enjoy coast to coast.
Who here is ready to have some fun?
The Alliance Theater in Atlanta with this massive outdoor production.
Flash your lights!
And honk your horns!
The audience participating from their cars.
So many things have been keeping us apart. We all made it here tonight to be together and share a story.
A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens.
From a full cast to a one-man show, Tony Award-winning actor Jefferson Mays playing all the characters in an online streaming version.
The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green of holly, mistletoe, and ivy.
Talk about what it was like to film, 50 roles. I mean, I can't even imagine.
I was kept very busy. I don't leave the stage for 90 minutes.
It held a branch of fresh green holly in its hand, yet its dress was trimmed with summer flowers.
Particularly in these troubled, fractious times, it's useful to be reminded of the core values of the story, about the transformational power of kindness. I think that's the fundamental core message of this piece.
A portion of the proceeds will go to local theaters across the country. And the play is so popular during the holidays, it brings in more than half the annual revenue for Trinity Repertory Company in Providence, Rhode Island. This year, they're doing it online for free. Hundreds of thousands of people signed up across all 50 states.
Why do it for free virtually for so many people?
The lesson of the story is one of generosity. We just knew that we had to do something this year because of its significance. Especially when things are so difficult.
Whether online,
roaring up the chimney as that dull petrification of a hearth had never known in Scrooge's time.
In the outdoors,
amazing, amazing,
or from your living room, 'tis the season to celebrate and come together, even if that means through a computer screen.
It's just bringing back so many positive memories of just Christmas, the spirit of family. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas,
Mr. Scrooge.
That was good enough, guys. I gotta give you some snaps.
Thank you. This was fun.
And if you're still hoping to catch one of the virtual plays, well, we've got some good news. You can stream both online versions we mentioned through the new year, so there is still time to get into the Christmas spirit. Diane?
All right, great tips. Rita Roy, thanks for that. So cute. And that does it for this ABC News Live update. I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for joining us. And remember, ABC News Live is here for you all day with the latest news, context, and analysis. I'll see you back here at 3 p.m. Eastern with Kira Phillips for the breakdown.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.